Hey, what's up fellas, it's Mike, and we're about to do the efficiency test on the Angel A1 Fly. Now what we're going to do here is let's go ahead and show you the tank. I believe we're sitting right at about 4,200 PSI. Now let's go ahead and take a tank temperature reading. And it looks like we're sitting about 63 degrees. It is a little bit cool here in Florida, believe it or not. And what we're going to do is let's go ahead and load up our pod. Now we're also testing out the Empire Prophecy LTD. Now you're going to see this little gizmo here on the tip of the barrel. Don't mind this. This is just a apex adapter that I mounted to the tip of the sly front. Shouldn't affect the performance at all. Let's go ahead and shoot a couple over the chronograph. So we're sitting a little bit. Let's see where we're at. A little hot. So let's dial this down just a little bit. There we go. So we're sitting right around about 296. Now the board that's in here is a Tadao board. Shouldn't affect the performance any, but it does make it a lot easier to ramp. So we'll go ahead and start shooting. There we go. Now the paint that we're using for this video is RPS Premium. Big thank you to rpspaintball.com for sponsoring the Tech QB videos. Allows us to do the efficiency test on these guns. Now I'm also running the LPR at about 72 PSI. I just found with the LPR raised up a little bit, it allows me to shoot the gun and not have to worry so much about the bolt stick. Oops, a little bit of a jam here. There we go. Looks like we're running out of steam. There we go. That's it. So let's go ahead and do our count. We got 2, 4, 6, 7, about 7.5 pods out of the Angel A1 Fly. Thank you. All right, so let's do the conclusion. You know, what has been my experience with the Angel Fly? Well, you know, here's one funny thing that's going on about Angel is they're spending a lot of money on the exterior of the gun and not a lot of money on the interior of the gun, okay? I would much rather take, you know, a gun that looks like the 2002 cut and carved that has all the internal features of today's markers that are selling for the same price as the Angel than one that, you know, has got all the fancy stuff on the outside. It kind of, you know, it kind of trips me out that, you know, Angel spends so much money on the outside of the guns, yet the internals of the guns are still outdated. So, you know, the guns for me, probably out of any other marker I've used probably in the past year, probably been some of the biggest pain in the ass that I've had out of the box, okay? The bolt sticking problems I've had has been an absolute nightmare, and I mean, thank God for the folks over at angelowners.com for actually helping me do it. You know, help me get through it and giving me all the solutions and stuff like that. They take credit for all the stuff that they've told me, you know, in terms of the, you know, doing the super glue in the breech seal and tapping down the bolt pin and, you know, adjusting the breech pins and the break-in and all that stuff. That was all from angelowners.com. You know, and basically how I've got to take a look at the Angel is I need to compare it to other markers that are in that same price range. Right now, Angels are selling for about $900. And unfortunately right now, other markers in the $900 price range are absolutely smoking the Angel, okay? I mean, let's take a look at the Vice, even some of the E-Techs, okay? The Droids, you know, you name it. There's so many guns in that $900 price range that are absolutely crushing the Angel, okay? They got the latest software, you know, you got externally adjustable regs and stuff like that. Now I know a lot of, you know, especially a lot of the Angel owners are really good at making excuses for their markers. Well, you don't really need an externally adjustable LPR. Yeah, you do, okay? This is a $900 gun, okay? This is a tournament level gun. If I'm going into the Snake and I've dove into the Snake 14 times and my breech is all dirty and now my bolt's not cycling back and forth and I still have 20 more X-Ball matches left to go, well, I need to crank my LPR up to you know, get through all that muck that's in my breech to get me through the rest of the day, okay? So not everybody plays paintball, you know, inside of a clean room. These guns are used, you know, a $900 gun is expected to perform on an X-Ball field or on an NPPL field playing 10, 12, 15, 30 matches a day. So, you know, you do need an externally adjustable LPR. That's a big problem, you know. If you don't have that, it's a big problem. You're not gonna have time when there's 60 seconds left to pull your thing apart and put some extra shims in there, put the gauge on there and make sure that you're shooting at, you know, you've got it raised, not too high, not too low, and stuff like that. Another thing I see, I don't understand the Angel software, the 2.7 software. Now, I know a lot of people, you know, a lot of the Angel owners are making an excuse for, well, they were changing the modes and this, that, and the other. Yeah, it's a $900 gun. It's a tournament gun, you know, so that's what you pay for, is for it to have the latest modes and the latest software updates and the latest compatibility with the latest tournaments. A tournament gun price, you should be able to use it at the local tournaments and stuff like that. It's got modes in there that I don't know what it is. I don't know, the manual doesn't seem to explain what's hard ramp, what's soft ramp, what's hard breakout, what's soft breakout. I have no idea. Luckily now the new Angels, like the Arc and stuff like that, is now basically coming with the same software. I believe it's the Lucky board, it's the same software that's coming to the Vanguard Creed. That's a good board, okay? That's what these guns need, and hopefully they make those backwards compatible. Another problem that I have with the guns, obviously, is the non-rebuildable RAM. The RAM is one of the most important and one of the hardest working parts inside of a paintball gun. You will get about 25 cases out of your RAM inside of the Fly, and you're gonna have to go buy a new RAM. That's nonsense. When all that's worn out is a 1 cent O-ring, why should you have to go and buy a whole new RAM? Well, that's how the RAMs are inside of the Angel. They're non-user serviceable. You cannot take them apart. That one main O-ring that you need to is behind a machine pressed bushing. You can't get inside there. So, you know, the markers have all the potential in the world, but, you know, out of the box they have little problems. Now, with the negative out of the way, once you actually get to know your marker's personality and, you know, you work through any of the issues that you have, you know, like for me, I've been putting the custom products regs on all of my markers, on all of them. Why? I don't want to have to worry about, you know, using a low pressure tank. And the custom product regulators are bulletproof. They work great. You know, they don't pressure spike. They don't, you know, spike my guns or anything like that. Once you put a CP reg on an Angel, it's going to shoot really, really well. First thing I highly recommend, put a CP reg on there. I got one on here. I got one on here. I got one on the Fly. You know, everyone that I've put a custom products regulator on my Angels, the Angels have shot really good. The next thing you do is get yourself an aftermarket board, you know, like the Tadao or the Virtue, you know, depending if you got the budget to spend on the OLED or on the LED. Virtue's got an OLED and an LED. Tadao's got the OLED board for them and stuff like that. Once you get the reg on there, once you get the a good board in there, take care of any bolt stick issues you might have if you have them. All of mine have them, but it's also here in Florida where it's really hot. All of mine tend to have them, and the breech seal seemed to work the best out of everything. Once I did the breech seal, the guns were completely different guns and they shot really, really well. Maybe it's the humidity here in Florida, maybe it's the heat, I don't know. I messed with the adhesive, I'm not sure. But once I pulled all the adhesive off of all the guns, re-glued them back down, the gun shot great. But once you put a good board in it and a good reg on it, and after you get through about 5,000 shots with a gun, they actually become a really nice gun to shoot. Okay, the trigger's phenomenal on them. I love the fly paper that's on them and stuff like that. Barrel's nice. The external finish of the guns is really, really nice. But, you know, once you put a good reg on it, put a good board inside there, and these guns are actually really nice to shoot, especially for semi-auto. Okay, they weigh in about 2 pounds 5 ounces. Got, you know, it's got the weight that you need for a semi-auto gun, so it maintains its stream. Very little recoil. It does take a little bit of time to get used to the air blasting out of both sides of the breech. You know, it's kind of one of those things that just at first it kind of freaks you out, but you actually kind of get used to it. But they're very comfortable to hold. Snap shooting with them is really easy. But for semi-auto, these guns are smoking fast for semi-auto. The trigger is amazing, And you know, the little bit of extra weight that the Angel has compared to some of the other guns that are on the market right now, it really works to its advantage for semi-auto play and also for PSP play also, you know. So that is, you know, my overall conclusion. Out of the box, it really pissed me off. Once you get to know your marker's personality and then you know, put a good reg on there, put a good board on there, take care of any of the bolt stick problems that you might have, and some of the other things we did in the prep work episode, they actually become a pretty nice gun to shoot. So in terms of maintenance on them, there's not a lot of maintenance you really have to do to these guns, and I would prefer, you know, that you don't, this is not the gun you take apart after every single weekend of play. Don't do it. It's not, the gun's not going to shoot any better whatsoever. Make sure your breech is clean, make sure there's no gunk inside your breech or covering your eyes or in your detents or anything like that. Put a drop of oil into your ASA for about every 5,000 to 10,000 shots and leave it alone. That's all you have to do to these guns. So you're not going to get any benefit out of these guns. It's not like a DM where you want to lube your bolt after every single day of play. The Angels do not need to do that. Keep them just clean, but don't be ripping out the LPR. Don't be taking apart the whole breech. Don't be taking out, you know, the RAM and all that stuff after every single weekend of play. These are not the guns to do that with. You don't have to do them. You're not going to get any benefit in play on them. The thing was, when I was using the Angels out there, I'm going 10 cases for every drop of oil. So, you know, I put 1 drop of oil in the ASA and I go shoot, you know, 5 to 10 cases, make sure the external's clean. That's it. So in terms of low maintenance, once you get to know the gun's personality and you get it shooting good, there's really no maintenance to the gun whatsoever other than just keeping it clean. But buying these guns at an event or buying the guns and then immediately taking them on an X-Ball field to go play World Cup, whoa. No, no, no. You need to get to know these guns, and that's probably the one I'm gonna, you know, sum the review up with. These guns have a lot of personality. You know, they are kind of fun when you first get them out of the box because there is going to be some challenges with the gun. I would not take these right out of the box and go play World Cup with it. Absolutely not. You know, but you know, if you're looking, if you got a little bit of patience, you want to use something that's a little bit different than what everybody else is using. You don't want to be looking at the spool valve guns and all the, you know, traditional stack tube poppet guns that are out there and stuff like that. You want to use something that's a little bit different than what everyone else is using. Give an Angel a shot. You know, I do know right now, unfortunately for Angels, the resale value on these things is terrible. Okay, so you can pick up a basic A1 or a fly, which I would recommend looking for a fly because it's easier for you to swap out the regulator. But you can pick them up right now probably anywhere between $400 to $600. Okay, so about half the price of what they're actually selling for. But you know, the fit and finish of the guns on the exterior is absolutely gorgeous. I just wish they would take a little bit of the effort that they put on the outside of the gun, put it into the internals of the gun. So that's my overall conclusion on the Angel. They are fun to shoot, but like I said, a lot of personality in these guns. You're gonna want to put, you know, 5-10 cases through these guns before you start to establish a trust with it. You start to understand how your gun operates and stuff like that out there on the field. Hopefully this helps. Thanks for tuning in.